What about you guys? Y'all want a picture?
Sure, since you're taking them.
Well, we got a little time here. Usually we don't have time to do nothing.
Yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Check that. Make sure it turned out all right.
Yep.
Right on here. We're going to take a picture because I may not bring all of you back out. He's the type that on my last stop, sometimes I'll say, you'll be leaving. He'll definitely leave something. Check that out, make sure it's okay. How many's in your group?
October 8th.
Okay, that concludes the tour. Do you have any?
Wow.
All right. First thing I do, I look for troublemakers. Can't tell which I believe you're the sneaker of lickum. Now you guys in the back row, y'all want to stand up and lean on the railing, you can do that. Watch your head, you're pretty tall. Same with you guys right here. If y'all want to lean, there you go. You don't have to if you don't want to. Now when we get to the other side, these guys will have to turn around, okay? All right, before anybody can go underground, the mines has to be firebossed by a certified person. Someone comes in early, checks for methane, carbon monoxide. We take a look at the roof and the rib to make sure it's safe. We don't have to do that because we don't produce coal, but we still do. Every morning one of us comes in early and does those checks. It happened to be me today. We got date boards throughout the mines. We'll put our date and initial on there. Now I'm going to show y'all how they mined coal back in the late 1800s. Now, I wasn't here, guys. All right. Today's coal miners are wearing a strap with a battery. It's mostly all remote control. This mine was a pick and shovel all the way. There was never any electrical equipment ever used in his mines. We're going to show you some on the other side, but it was never used here. The mines went under the city of Beckley for 7 miles in diameter. Now they had to take a pick and pick out that coal and shovel it on these cars. This coal seam, 28 inches high. That's what they were working in. They wasn't standing up like me. They were working in 28 inches of coal. It'd be hard for those little guys to work in 28 inches of coal. I'll explain it to you more as we go on up. The company made the miners work 12-hour shifts. They demanded that they shovel, hand load 10 tons of coal in 12 hours, 10 of these cars. If they didn't do it, they'd lose their job. A lot of times they brought their teenage son in to help them get their quota. Once the car was loaded, they all had a piece of wood with a number on it. That number corresponded to their name outside. That's how they knew who to pay. Now, they were thieves back then, like they are today. A lot of times the car would go outside, somebody'd steal that wood and put it on their car. This guy wouldn't get paid. So finally, they put the wood in the car first, then they loaded the car up. When it got unloaded outside, they knew who to pay. Now, I brought y'all in on a 1930 model locomotive. Back in these days, they had track, but they didn't have electricity going underground. How do you think they drug the cars out of the mines back in those days? What'd they use?
Animals.
Horses, mules, donkeys. They even used dogs. Has anyone seen the movie Coal Miner's Daughter?
Yeah.
You?
That's where it was. Everybody lived in a coal camp. Every coal camp had a company store. Maybe you've heard the song, 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. That's what it was. They bought all their food, clothing, medicine, tools. Everything had to be purchased at the company store. Even the houses they lived in were rented from the company store. If a coal miner got killed back in those days, the company gave the family 3 days to move out. So another family could move in. I've got an LED light on my cap. They didn't have LED lights back then. They started out with this right here. What does that look like to you guys?
Oh,
Very good. She got that right off. Teapot. They started out with the teapot and a can of kerosene. They'd empty the kerosene into the teapot. It would fit on their cap. They would ignite it. It'd be an open flame. Now, what's going to happen if that flame hits a pocket of methane? It'll be a pop. A lot of methane, there's going to be an explosion. This light only lasted about 3 hours. They'd have to relight it again. Does anyone have family that worked underground? Who'd you have?
My great-grandfather actually in the coal mines in Pennsylvania.
And you?
grandfather.
Your grandfather. Who else?
My daddy and grandfather.
Oh, okay. All right. After the teapot, they came out with what's called a carbide lamp. This is carbide, this is water. When you mix water with carbide, it forms like a settling gas. We got any welders on here? All right, now you see that gas coming out of here?
Oh.
I tried to get her to jump. Nothing scares her, does it? Usually I can get somebody to jump here. All right. Now, can you imagine working a 12-hour shift with a light like this? That's all they had. Each coal miner had to carry around a can of carbide with them. If they were lucky, this light might last about 4 hours. They'd have to relight it again. If they ran out of water, they had to use their spit to relight it. And like I said, if you happen to hit a pocket of methane, there's going to be a pop or an explosion. Now, people ask me all the time, are the mines haunted? No, everything's fine. As long as you can see, you're not going to have a problem. If you can't see, you may have a problem.
Wow.
All right, now over the years, my light went out plenty of times. One time my light went out, took them about 30 minutes to find me. I had one major problem, one major concern. Can anybody tell me what it was other than I couldn't see? What would be my biggest problem?
Cold.
Cold? Yeah. I got some city slickers on here today. I had to worry about a rat crawling on me. Hey, y'all came here to hear about those rats. I'm going to tell you all about them when we get to the other side over there.
That's cool.
That was scary.
Now this is called a flame safety lamp. We used to use these in the old days to check for methane. They did away with the mid-70s because of that flame. You could take this lamp, put it a foot from the roof. If the top of that flame turns blue and elongates, that means you're in methane gas. They didn't have any way to check. We also used this to check for low oxygen. Happened to me plenty of times. I'd be walking along and that flame go out or start to go out. There's not enough oxygen in front of me to survive. They didn't have any way to check. Today, they use a spotter. All you do is push a button. It'll give you a methane check and a carbon monoxide check. Now, they had one way to check for low air and methane back in those days. And this is what it was right here. What's this look like to you little guys right here?
What's in there? A little bird.
What about you guys back here? What's that look like? What kind of bird is it? Y'all be thinking about it and let me know. What kind of bird is it? There you go. That's right. No one's heard of West Virginia, but they've heard about canaries in the coal mines. Now this one's had its better days right here, okay? That one's had it. All right. Now tell me something. Let's see if y'all been listening or not. Where did they buy the canary?
Company store.
Good job. She been listening. Where did they buy the material to build the cage?
Company store.
They'd go to work, set the canary right there, and they'd start picking and shoving. If that canary is chirping and singing something like, almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, everything's fine. If it's laying flat on its back with its legs up in the air, it's only a matter of time before it's going to get you. These canaries saved a lot of coal miners' lives back then. The reason they used the canary for breathing and the lungs of a canary are similar to a human. All right, which one of these right here is a mathematician? Now wait a minute, you're pointing at him and he's pointing at you. Which one of you is a mathematician now?
This one.
And I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick you, okay? Usually when I do that, everybody becomes astronomers. You know, like if you take your whole family out to eat and they bring the bill and everybody's doing this. You know? All right, now listen up. It's not that hard. Back in those days, they had to work a 12-hour shift. They had to shovel 10 tons of coal in 12 hours. They only made 20 cents a ton. So, if they shoveled 10 tons of coal at 20 cents a ton, how much money they make that day? 10 tons at 20 cents a ton.
Raise
Yeah,
hand.
$2, what, $2.40?
She figured it out.
10 tons. What? $2. That's right.
Good job.
Then,
$2.
hear that? My mom told me. This she's honest about. $2. Then they had to spend $5 or $6 just to pay for the little shack they lived in. Today's coal miners make anywhere from 85 to over 100,000 a year. Now guys, we're going to leave here and go to the other side. I'm going to show you the next step to coal mining. They're still going to be using a pick, but they're
How about it, Joe? How about a weather check outside? How about it, Mike?
they're going to still be using a pick. They get through jabbering, we'll finish this up.
No, bring my mood. Get out. I need to get the switch for me, girl. If you would, please.
We'll go to the other side. I'll show you the next step to coal mining. They're still going to be using a pick, but they're going to be doing one thing different. We're going to slowly progress, if you want to call it that. Have a seat, watch your heads, watch out for a little bat that flies around. We'll go to the other side of it.
It's pretty bad. You can feel a rumble under here. You know it's bad out there.
Okay. I have to apologize right here a little bit. It's hard to position these cars real good right here for everybody to see. Now, when we get down there to the fun stop, it's going to be a lot better. Over there, they were picking the coal down. Now, they're still using a pick, but they're doing something different. Instead of picking down, those poor guys are laying on their side. And they're picking underneath, 3 feet in and all the way across. Now, that's called an undercut. And this is their actual work area, by the way. Now, what do you think they're going to do different right there? Why would they do an undercut? You see that old breast auger? What are they going to do different?
They're going to blast it.
They're going to blast it down. It's got to have a place to fall. After the undercut, they took that breast auger. They drilled 3 holes. They reached in their pocket. They got out their little balls of black powder with their fuses, which they purchased at the store. They shoved the black powder in the holes. The fuse wires will be hanging down. Now, back in those days, they had to go look for dirt and mud, anything they could find to shove in behind that powder to make it tight, using a wooden stick. That's called tamping it up. Now, why would they do that?
Direct the blast.
That's right. If they didn't do it, the shot would blow through the holes and the coal wouldn't fall down. After that, there'd be a cable going around the corner with a battery on it. They had wired up and they screamed real loud, just like they do today. Fire, fire, fire in the hole. That gives everybody a warning there's going to be a blast. They blast the coal down. The old mule shoves the car up there. The guy shovels all the coal up. Process starts all over again. Now, if the animal didn't have enough room to work, they'd come in at night and blast the rock down and get it out of the way. They didn't care about the coal miner, but they made sure the animal had enough height. In other words, if the coal seam wasn't high enough, And you can see it's not high enough right there for an animal. I happen to be a certified shot fireman. I've blown up a lot of stuff in 43 years, believe me. I'm not a terrorist now, okay? But I've blown up like a roof over your heads for big equipment to go underground. I put off as much as 300 shots at one time.
Wow.
We didn't have to use dirt and mud. We used these little sticks of clay. They're called clay dummies. Stick them in a hole, tamp it in. The reason we call them dummies, you gotta be a dummy to go in that hole. No one's gonna get blown up. All right, y'all have a seat a minute. We're gonna drift right over and see my buddy Don Corleone there a minute. Y'all can see this good when I drift by there. Now, we gave him a pepperoni and egg biscuit this morning. He's doing a little bit better over there. Now, guys, so far we're picking the coal down. Now we're blasting it down, but they're still shoveling. Shoveling days are over. This is a 1929 model loading machine. Electric, never used here. They blast the coal down, bring the machine up. Once the coal got right there, they turn these things on right here. They're called gathering arms. And what it does, it pulls the coal into here. What do you think's underneath the coal right there?
An employee?
What's gonna make it load the coal into the car back there?
Conveyor belt.
Conveyor chain. They turn that chain on, load that car up in about a minute. They still use that type of equipment in one mines in Kentucky. Not quite that old, but that type. Today's machines cut the coal and load it all up at the same time. That's called continuous mining. That's a scoop. The guy built this, he never got a patent on it. Coal companies copied his idea and made millions. Today's scoops are twice as wide. Some of them are remote control. That's a scoop bucket. It'd go up and down. You could push coal, clean the roadways. You could pull stuff with it. If you needed supplies, you tell the scoop man. We called him the gopher. He'd be the one to go for whatever you needed. Great piece of machinery, but they never got a patent on it. Now, once they got the electrical equipment, they stopped paying them by the ton, of course. Then they started paying them by the hour. All right, guys, y'all have a seat there a minute. Okay, now you guys will get to see everything I'm going to do right here in just a minute. If you guys want to stand up back there, you can. Don't bump your heads. You guys will get to see everything. Sir, if you want to step out, of the car and stand over there, I don't care. Just don't bump your head, okay? You want to do that. All right, guys. Now back there, they were laying on their side doing the undercut. They finally invented a cutting machine that looks like a chainsaw turned over on the side. They turn it on, they can do that undercut real quick. That breast auger, now they got a hydraulic drill. So things are getting better. All right. Every time I do this, some adult will blurt out the answer. Almost every time. Now come on, guys, let's give these little guys a chance first, all right? What about you guys right there? Any of you little guys, what does this look like?
Skateboard.
Okay, skateboard, scooter.
Yes.
When I first went underground, my boss was riding around on one of these. He had a big cigarette sticking out of his mouth. There wasn't any rules or laws. If you went in and got out good, if you didn't, they didn't really care. 1970, he was riding around on it. They were obsolete in 1970, but he liked it so well, he kept using it. How does it work? You just put it on the track. If you want to go somewhere, you put your knee right here and start pushing, just like this. Modern way of transportation. If you happen to go downhill, you could drift a little bit. All right, now the problem is, am I going to be able to get back up? I keep telling myself I'm going to quit doing that, but I just can't help myself. I thought I was going to get a knee replacement. I went to a specialist. He said my knee was collapsed here on the inside, but I still had mobility, so he doesn't want to do a knee replacement yet. I said, well, okay. All right, guys. We're going to get a little bit serious, then we're going to have some fun. Over your head is 125 feet of mountain. If I drill a hole right here, we go up 125 feet, we'd be outside. Those things over your heads are called roof bolts. Those roof bolts is what's keeping the rock from falling on your heads. Now, I've put up thousands of roof bolts in my life. Not with that machine. That machine is really old. That's about a 1930-some model. Never used here. Only one man could operate it. Today's machines are 4 times as wide, and you've got a guy on both sides of the machine drilling the holes to install the roof bolts. But the idea is the same. You have to have a piece of drill steel with a sharp bit on it. It would fit right here. That's called a drill head. They raised it up with the hydraulics. There's another lever they'd use to let it cut. Now this is what it looks like when you're drilling a hole to install those roof bolts. Tell me something. Where's all the rock dust going? Up your nose, down your throat, in your lungs. That's why we all got black lung. Today's machines have blower motors on them. When you're drilling, those motors are sucking that dust through here into the machine. All you have to do is empty out the dust boxes. But it's still a dirty, dangerous, and most important job in the mines. After you drill your hole, it's time to put up your roof bolt. This is what's over your heads. 4-foot glue bolt. They make them shorter, they make them longer. It's according to how bad the roof is. This is what they mostly use today. After you drill your hole, it's time to get this. The other morning, I had 62 elementary kids on here. I'm okay now. And I like to ask these little guys what this is. You wouldn't believe some of the things they say. Now what about you little guys? What about you? What does that look like to you guys? What does that look like to you? And you little ones over here. I've heard hot dog before.
Really a long.
A long hot dog. What about you?
What's it look like?
It kind of looks like a very long stick.
I've heard stick before. What about you guys? I've heard popsicle. What does it look like, guys?
What's it look like to you?
I hadn't heard the number one thing the little kids say. All right, anybody, what does it look like, the older ones? A sausage link. That's the number one thing the little kids say is a sausage link. And I tell them, we can't support this roof with a sausage link. That is a stick of glue. After you drill your hole, you stick your glue up in the hole with the bolt like that. Don't let the machine push it all the way up. The bolt would fit over there. Let the machine push it up to here and let the machine spin it for about 5 seconds. Now what happens to that tube of glue?
Pops open.
It breaks open, it gets hot, it flows down this bolt, it goes up into those cracks, and hardens up and loose and connects all that loose rock together. You only have to spin it for about 5 seconds. They asked me to train these young guys how to put up a roof bolt about 11 years ago before I retired. They come to work, they're mad at their girlfriend before they ever get here. Now remember, you only spin it for 5 seconds. They're spinning away complaining. She broke up with me last night. I don't know why. I don't have nothing for lunch. They spin it too long. The glue gets hard and sets up. You can't push the boat up in a hole. You got this thing hanging down. You know what we call these? Helicopters. You got to tell everybody, watch your head. There's some helicopters here. I've hit my head on them. It'll cut you. It'll knock your cap off. You have to bring somebody in with the torch to cut them out. All right, you see these all through the mines, in the roof and on the ribs. What do you think we call this?
Plates.
All right, now the little square ones are plates. You see how rusty and old they are? See the newer ones? During COVID, they came in, they put up a lot of new roof bolts everywhere to make it safer. We call this a pizza pan. Drill your hole, drop your pan down. This is what it sounds like when you're done. And it's there to stay. Now, this machine is so old, it'll only drill straight up. Y'all heard that song? To the left, to the left. Too old to know that song. All y'all, every one of you think he's too old to know that song. Well, the new machines tilt. They drill to the left. They drill to the right. And they drill straight up. Now I'm going to put my light on bright here a minute. I had my light on bright the other day. A lady stood up right there. And she said, if you don't get that light out of my eye, I want you to take me out of here and I want my money back.
Oh.
Hey, we get some doozies on here sometimes. And it gets worse as the year goes on. But the reason you see the pizza pans and plates everywhere, the new machines will do that, see. The old machine won't do it. Now that's called a brow. See where the coal fell out? That thing will roll over on you and kill you quicker than the roof will. Right before I retired, our mechanic was between the machine and the rib over there. One of those brows rolled over on him and killed him. Now I could give you a lot of horror stories over 43 years, believe me. But we don't need to go there, all right? Okay. This is called a kettle bottom.
Okay, got it inside.
Another one right there. Another name for that is a widow maker. If that falls on you, you've had it. That weighs about 280 pounds. See how slick it is? They're in the roof everywhere. They'll fall out without warning. You can't drill a hole in them and put up a bolt, they'll fall out. You have to drill to the side and put a strap under them. Now who could tell me, what is that exactly right there?
Petrified tree.
All right, sir, now, you are naturally smart, or you've been to the coal museum, or both.
No, Pocahontas Museum.
Okay, all right. The other day, I had 30 people on here. This guy gave me trouble the whole tour. We got right here, I said, what is that? He stood up in front of everybody. That's a petrified tree stump. I said, well, sir, you're pretty smart. Or maybe you saw it up the coal museum. I hadn't been to any coal museum. He got mad. When I got outside, they told me he was up there 2 hours studying everything. So I called him in a big lie. That's a petrified tree stump. What is coal? Coal is vegetation that's been under water and pressure for thousands of years and it turns into coal. That's why you can find fossils in the mines, little ferns. We got mushrooms growing around here. Where you're sitting at used to be vegetation and it turned into coal. Now, I don't have anything against you guys.
It is not raining outside. It is not raining, and I will stand the track.
You guys, I don't have a thing against y'all, but over your head is one of the biggest kettle bottoms I've ever seen in my life right there. Y'all see that crack going around there? That is one gigantic kettle bottom. The trunk probably goes up in the roof 5 or 6 feet. Don't worry about it though, it's not gonna fall on you, okay? All right, guys, what's this?
Lunch pail.
Lunch pail, lunch box. Coal miners like to be sophisticated. We call this a dinner bucket. Take the top off. What goes in here?
Dessert.
Dessert, that's right. Coal miners eat their dessert first. We don't know if we're gonna get out of here or not. What goes in here? Main course. Back in those days, they didn't have any way to heat up their food. Today's coal miners has a picnic table, coffee pot, and a microwave. They get 30 minutes for lunch. They come down, take a sip of coffee, read the headlines. That's enough right there to make you sick, isn't it? What goes in here?
Water.
Water. Now back in those days, they had to bring their own water. They'd fill it up to here. Let's pretend we're back in the late 1800s. That's a dinner hole. Poor old guy's been shoveling coal for about 5 hours. Now remember, he's not standing up like me. He's working in that coal seam right there. He crawls down here to get a drink of water. No water. Somebody stole his water. He went home and told his wife, honey, I'm so thirsty. She said, what's the matter? He said, they stole my water again. She got mad. She said, how many times I got to tell you? Put something in that water to keep those guys from stealing it. And finally, that's what the old timers did. I got to pick on you. They put their old choppers in there. They didn't have to worry about anybody stealing their water anymore. Now, people think we do that to get a laugh. No, when I was real little, I'd go and spend a weekend at my grandfather's house. My grandfather was a coal miner. He came over on a boat from Italy. My dad never went underground. He ran a grocery store and sold used furniture. I go to my grandfather's on weekends. He'd give me chores to do. I remember every Friday night at 9 o'clock, they'd all get a cup of coffee and kick back and watch Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke still comes on around here every night at 9 o'clock. I looked in his bucket for a snack. His teeth were in there. I believe he soaked them in there all night. What do we have here? All right. Any mines I ever worked at has rats. We don't have rats here because we don't produce coal. If we produce coal, there'd be noise and food. The rats would come, the miners would feed them. The rat is a friend to the coal miner, just like the canary. They have a keen sense of smell and hearing, and they're smart. I've seen these rats take their tails and lift the lid right off that dinner bucket. Many times I'd be having my lunch and I'd see a rat crawl by dragging a sandwich. Or one of them little Debbie cakes. They love those little cakes. Sometimes they'll look over at you like, that's right, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. You see a bunch of rats take off running toward the outside, there's something going on. There's either smoke on the way or the roof's bad. The rats always knew. That's why the miners took care of them. Guys, I'm going to talk even faster now, okay? We're in the drift mines. We went straight in. There's slope mines where you go underground like this. Then there's shaft mines. I've worked in a shaft mine where 30 men get on an elevator and go straight down 800 feet. Down there, the methane is really hot. You have to have a lot of ventilation to keep that methane swept away. That's called a supplementary roof jack. We used to use these in the old days where you couldn't put up those bolts. That thing will hold an incredible amount of weight. I don't have time to explain the different types of coal mining in here. I answer any of your questions outside. But if you look around you, those are pillars of coal all around you. If we took out those pillars of coal, the whole mountain would fall in on us. They didn't have modern technology back then. That's why they left all this coal in here. For 7 miles in diameter under the city of Beckley, the coal's still there. They didn't know how to get it. Today you can get all this coal. When you do, that's called pillar mining. The roof is continually falling at all times. I've seen so much pressure before a major roof fall, these jacks will buckle over, snap, and break. right before a major roof fall, these plates will ping out. They'll go ping, and they shoot out just like a shotgun before the mountain falls in. A lot of guys got killed with those plates hitting them in the side of the head. These timbers, they look strong, they'll break just like a toothpick. Guys, I'm telling you, I've seen so much pressure before a major roof fall. It'll put so much pressure on the coal, it will cause the floor to hoof up and break open, just like an earthquake. So much pressure from up there. This is the old mine phone we used to use. Come in outside, we need help. You might get an answer, you might not. All you had was a little wire going from here to the outside. If a little rock or something falls, you don't have any communication. Guess what they got underground now for communication?
Radios.
Wi-Fi stations every so many feet. Not all the mines yet. They got this fiber optic stuff. I don't understand a thing about it. All I know is they try to text their friends outside, but it don't work. They got Wi-Fi underground. Someone asked guys about a tip jar. We don't have tip jars. If you want to get something, that's fine. Someone back there, well, maybe it's over here, asked me about black lung. I do have black lung. People say, Mike don't have black lung. He moves around too good. Well, what I do is I try to keep my lungs expanded. If I'm not doing these tours, I try to go to the gym a little while. Do something to stay active. If I laid around watching TV for 2 or 3 days, my breathing would get worse. I'm way better off than most of the people that I work with. Most of them are gone. I just turned 74 the other day. Most of the guys I know are gone, or they're on oxygen tanks. One more thing, guys, and we'll go. The other day, I went to the doctor's office. A guy hollered at me and said, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" I didn't even recognize him. Me and him rode together for 12 years to work, and I didn't even recognize him. He lost so much weight. He was on oxygen, and he's waiting on a lung transplant. So I consider myself blessed and fortunate that I'm able to do what I'm doing. All right, guys, they said it's not raining. So now we're going to take you all the way around the mountain by the pool and a water slide. How's that sound? Now, when I get up here, I'll show you those straps real quick. When we get outside, make sure you turn around and see where we're coming. much. I hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
I'll get the gates for you. You can go up that, through that door to the coal camp. Right over there where you bought
Thank
your
you.
ticket is the coal museum.